All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about Matthew Lillard.
Okay.
You probably know him best from Scream and Scooby-Doo.
Sure.
And we're going to be using this really interesting article from Celebrity Net Worth to kind of guide our conversation.
Okay.
And I think what you're going to find really interesting about this deep dive is that it's not just like a listing of his movies.
Right.
We're really going to be trying to figure out, the man behind the roles.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what's so interesting about Matthew Lillard is,
Right.
like, on the surface, you see this incredibly successful actor.
Oh.
He's been in Hollywood for decades. But then you look at his net worth,
Yeah.
and it's estimated to be only $2 million.
I know, I was shocked when I saw that.
It's kind of wild, right?
See, this,
You think?
yeah, it really threw me for a loop.
Like, you would think it would be way more than that.
Yeah, like what's the deal? He's
Mhm.
been in so many big projects.
Exactly. And our article even mentions that he revealed this number himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a 2012 Reddit AMA.
Huh.
So that's where this figure is coming from, straight from the source.
Okay, so like, what's up with that? Why is it so low?
Well, I think it's important to remember that celebrity net worth is really complex.
Hmm.
It's not just about those big salaries they get from movies. It also includes things like real estate investments,
Right.
all sorts of other financial holdings.
Yeah.
So it might not always be about, chasing the biggest paycheck.
Okay, so let's kind of unpack that then.
Okay.
This article actually takes us through his career in chronological order, so why don't we follow that?
All right.
And apparently he started out hosting a skateboarding show.
Really?
Yeah, called SK8 TV.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Okay.
I had no idea.
That's cool.
It's like really interesting.
It just goes to show, even the biggest stars
Yeah.
have these early gigs
Yeah.
that you would never expect
Yeah.
that kind of help shape their careers.
Yeah.
So from there, he jumps into movies with Serial Mom in 1994,
Oh, wow.
directed by John Waters, if you're familiar with John Waters.
And then just a year later, he's in Hackers.
Boom.
That's his breakout role.
Yeah.
Alongside Angelina Jolie and Johnny Lee Miller.
Huge.
I remember watching that in high school.
Oh, me too.
It's such a cult classic now.
Total clock off.
But I find it so interesting that, like,
Okay.
when it came out, it was actually criticized
I
for
know,
not
I
being
know.
realistic about hacking.
Exactly. And now it's like almost prophetic given how much technology has advanced.
It really is.
Right.
And we can't forget Scream
Of course.
in 96. Huge hit.
Huge.
He was amazing as Stu.
Oh, he was so good in that.
You could already tell then that he could do the comedy, but also like the more intense roles.
Totally. And
Mhm.
speaking of that, the article mentions his performance in SLC Punk
Oh, yeah.
from 1998.
Ah.
Got some really great critical acclaim.
Yeah,
Like, it seems like he's always kind of gravitated towards roles with an edge.
yeah.
Like, he's not afraid to take risks even early on in his career.
Okay, so now let's get to the elephant. Or should I say the Great Dane?
In the room, Shaggy.
There it is.
So 2002 rolls around,
Okay.
and he steps into those iconic bell-bottoms
Mhm.
for the live-action Scooby-Doo,
Yes.
and then again for the sequel in 2004.
So good.
Those movies are like pure nostalgia for me.
I know, right? Like, who else could you imagine playing live action Shaggy?
I know.
He just embodied that character.
And it's like, his connection to Shaggy goes way deeper than just those two movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, when Casey Kasem retired
Right.
in 2009 as the voice of Shaggy, Matthew Lillard took over
He did.
for like tons of animated projects. He even voiced Shaggy in an episode of Supernatural.
I love that.
It's amazing.
It's just a testament to how, like, Shaggy is so deeply ingrained in our culture. Like, it transcends generations. And it's
Wow.
like Lillard became the voice of Shaggy for a whole new era.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was that whole thing
Oh,
where he
wow.
wasn't cast to voice Shaggy in the 2020 reboot Scoob.
Right.
That was like really controversial. Yeah. Fans were not happy. It just
Yeah.
goes to show you that even when you're synonymous with a role,
Right.
there are forces at play that you can't control.
Yeah. It's like a bummer.
It is.
But, it's just like one example in a larger pattern with Lillard.
Okay.
It's like he's not afraid to branch out and try different things. Like, you see it in his TV roles as well.
Yeah, like House, Criminal Minds,
The Bridge.
Twin Peaks, Good Girls.
Like, it really is all over the map.
He's a chameleon,
Yeah.
for sure. And I think, that speaks to his versatility as an actor and his desire to keep things interesting.
Right.
It makes you wonder, if maybe that's part of the reason for his net worth.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not, chasing those big paychecks all the time.
Right.
Maybe he's choosing projects based on passion and interest.
I know.
I mean, if you remember what he said in that Reddit AMA,
What was that?
he's not rich.
Yeah.
but he loves his life.
Yeah.
That says a lot, I think.
Yeah, and you know what else I thought was really interesting in the article? He talks about how he only made $1,600 for a week's work on The Descendants.
What?
For a movie like that,
That's crazy.
that was nominated for awards.
I know.
It's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
It's wild.
This kind of goes back to the idea of like bankability in Hollywood.
Okay.
So basically, studios, they look at an actor and they decide how much they think that actor will guarantee box office success. So it's really complex, and it doesn't always reflect an actor's talent or the quality of the film.
Right, so it sounds like maybe Lillard is not playing that bankability game.
Maybe not.
And it makes me think he's prioritizing other things. Like, we see this pattern of choosing interesting roles, even if they don't come with a huge paycheck.
Definitely.
And then you look at his personal life. He's been married to Heather Helm since 2000.
Wow.
They have 3 kids together.
It's a long time in Hollywood.
I know.
Especially compared to like all the whirlwind relationships you often hear about. It really speaks to a level of commitment
Right.
and stability, you know, and I might not be compatible with just chasing the next blockbuster all the time.
And they've got those real estate holdings, like
Yeah.
homes in Los Angeles and Pasadena.
I mean, real estate,
Yeah.
especially in California.
Yeah.
That's a smart investment.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if that's part of his long-term financial strategy. You know?
Yeah.
Like building that solid foundation instead of relying on that unpredictable acting income.
Right. And they sold a Pasadena home back in 2003 for $1.3 million.
Oh, wow.
After buying it in 2002.
So they made a profit. Nice.
That's a really savvy move.
Getting
It's
out.
like those kind of moves add up over time, even if the individual film salaries aren't huge.
It definitely suggests a level of financial awareness
Hmm.
and planning that you might not stereotype with Hollywood actors.
Right. So we're starting to see this picture emerge here of a guy who's choosing passion projects, prioritizing family, and seems to be making these smart financial moves outside of acting. It's really making me rethink what success looks like.
It's definitely challenging that traditional narrative.
Right.
But that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. You know, we're getting a glimpse into a different side of Hollywood where personal fulfillment might actually trump blockbuster fame and fortune.
I know, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned, because next we're going to be going even deeper into Matthew Lillard's life, his passions, and what his choices reveal about success in Hollywood. This is where it gets really interesting.
I can't wait. Yeah, it really does make you think, like, is he deliberately, you know, charting a different course?
Right. It's almost like he's saying, I'm going to build a sustainable career, one that allows me to do the things that I love, spend time with my family, have financial security, even if it means not being like the highest paid guy in the room.
Yeah, and it's refreshing to see, especially in an industry that's so obsessed with fame and fortune. You know, it's like he's found that sweet spot between creative fulfillment and like a balanced life.
Yeah, and it's not like he's shying away from challenges either. Like, remember how we were talking about his filmography?
Yeah.
It's super diverse. And the article even mentions that he directed a film
Oh, yeah.
called Fat Kid Rules the World. I haven't seen it.
I've seen that one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, it's really powerful. It's a coming-of-age story. But it tackles some pretty heavy themes,
Oh, wow.
like bullying, self-esteem, even suicide. It's definitely not your typical teen movie.
Wow. That's pretty impressive, especially for like a directorial debut. It seems like he's constantly pushing himself to grow,
Yeah, totally.
like as both an actor and a filmmaker.
It's like a testament to his commitment to his craft.
Yeah.
He's not just, you know, going through the motions. He's seeking out projects that challenge him
Right.
and allow him to explore different facets of storytelling.
Okay, so we've talked about his film and TV work, his real estate,
Yeah.
his family life, but there's one more piece of the puzzle we got to fit in.
Okay, what's that?
His passion for Dungeons and Dragons.
Of course.
Like, the article mentions that he's not just a casual player. This guy's like a serious D&D enthusiast.
I love it.
It's always so cool to see celebrities embrace hobbies that are like outside the typical Hollywood scene.
Right. It makes him more relatable
Work.
human.
Yeah, totally. And he doesn't just play in his basement.
Yeah.
He's participated in like a Hollywood D&D tournament.
Get out.
And he even starred in an online series
Oh, cool.
called Dice Camera Action,
I love it.
where he plays D&D with other celebrities.
That's amazing.
It's so great.
He's not afraid to let his geek flag fly.
Right.
It's awesome.
And I feel like it kind of ties back into this idea of choosing to live a more authentic life, like doing things that he genuinely enjoys, even if they're not considered cool by like Hollywood standards.
Exactly. It's about being true to yourself,
Yeah.
embracing those passions,
Yeah.
and not letting the pressure of fame dictate your every move.
Okay, so we've gone through his career, his net worth, his real estate ventures, his family, even his love for D&D. But the question that keeps bouncing around in my head is like, what does it all mean? What's the takeaway from all of this?
I think it's a story about redefining success. You know, Matthew Lillard has achieved a level of fame and recognition that most actors only dream of. But he's chosen to use that platform to create a life that's fulfilling on a personal level.
Right, like he's not chasing awards or blockbuster paydays. It seems like he's really focused on doing good work, spending time with his family, pursuing his passions.
And in doing so, he's sending a powerful message. You don't have to conform to society's expectations of what success should look like. You can create your own path, one that aligns with your values and priorities.
It's a good reminder that success isn't one size fits all. It's about finding what truly matters to you and building a life that reflects those values.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means prioritizing family over fortune, passion projects over blockbuster roles, and maybe a good game of D&D over the Hollywood party scene.
I gotta say, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. Like, I used to think of Matthew Lillard as just Shaggy or Stu from Scream, but now I see him as this really interesting, multifaceted guy who's making conscious choices to live a life that's both successful and fulfilling.
It's a reminder that there's often more to people than meets the eye, especially in an industry that tends to put people into neat little boxes.
And that's what I think makes these deep dives so rewarding. You get to peel back those layers and discover the real person beneath the public persona.
So as we kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive, what stands out to you most about Matthew Lillard's journey? What resonates with you?
You know what really strikes me is his willingness to be himself, even if it means going against the grain. Like, he's not afraid to embrace his inner geek, to choose roles that challenge him, to put his family above fame.
I think that's what makes him so relatable and appealing. He's not putting on an act, he's just being authentically himself.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message, not just for aspiring actors, but for anyone trying to navigate their own path in life.
Right. Yeah, it's a reminder that you don't have to play by someone else's rules. You can define success on your own terms.
Okay, so that brings us to our final segment. We're going to explore some of Lillard's lesser-known works and leave you with some thought-provoking questions about what his choices reveal about success and fulfillment in Hollywood. So we've talked about how Matthew Lillard really kind of does his own thing. But I'm curious, are there other actors out there who have taken a similar approach?
Yeah, you can definitely draw some parallels. Like, think about someone like Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
He's done those big-budget films like Training Day.
Yeah.
But he's also consistently chosen these indie projects, directed his own films, even written novels. So it's like they're both driven by this desire to really explore those different creative avenues, not just chase those box office numbers.
Right, and it makes you wonder, does that approach lead to greater longevity in Hollywood?
It's a good question. You know, it's a notoriously fickle industry. So maybe by not being tied to a single genre or a specific image, they're able to stay relevant longer.
Right.
You know, they keep surprising audiences and casting directors.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to make sure our listeners know where to go to experience more of Matthew Lillard's work beyond like the big hits.
Yeah. What are some recommendations?
Yeah, what are some of your favorites?
Well, if you haven't seen SLC Punk yet, definitely check it out. Lillard's performance as Steve-O is incredible.
Okay.
He's this hardcore punk navigating life in Salt Lake City, and it's just raw, energetic, and it really shows his dramatic range.
SLC Punk.
Yeah.
Noted. What about Fat Kid Rules the World?
Oh, that's a great choice. If you want to see his directorial style, it's a heartfelt story about these two teenage outsiders who find solace in music. And Lillard's direction is really sensitive. He's got that real indie spirit.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, I want to leave you with something to ponder.
Okay.
We've seen that Matthew Lillard has chosen a path less traveled in Hollywood. He's prioritized those passion projects, family time, a diverse range of roles over like the mega stardom and massive paychecks. So what do you think his choices say about the true meaning of success? Not just in Hollywood, but in life in general.
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves, right? Are we chasing external validation and material wealth? Or are we seeking fulfillment, creative expression, and genuine connection? Maybe, just maybe, Matthew Lillard's story can inspire us to redefine our own definitions of success and prioritize the things that truly matter.
Well said. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I encourage everyone to explore Matthew Lillard's work, not just the big hits, but those hidden gems that reveal his depth and range as an artist. And as you go about your day, ask yourself, what does success look like for you? What brings you joy? And how can you build a life that reflects those values? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Matthew Lillard. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.